So today we're gonna go into this photo shoot right here, and this video, the first one, is gonna be talking about the technicalities of the set. That means, how do I talk to hair and makeup, how do I talk to stylists, how do I talk to the model, the lighting, the remote, the triggers, all of that stuff. It's gonna help you out a whole bunch. And then part 2 of this video, of this photo shoot, is going to be, by the way, her name is Haley Ross. Awesome human. Then part 2 is going to be actually the whole photo shoot of me shooting her and looking at some of the editing process and all that. So if you want to make sure you don't miss part 2 of it, you're going to learn a whole bunch. Click subscribe and let's get started. Hey you guys, so I'm putting in gas in my car, but let's go to a photo shoot. Follow along with me. And it's a shoot that's halfway determined. So half of it is planned out, half of it I'm just leaving for circumstances and just to see what comes up, what inspires, what the stylist pulls. The stylist stresses me out, but he's a friend, he's talented. And he's out shopping this morning for the clothes. So Andrew, when you watch my channel, for the love of God, keep me from having a stroke. Then I have Regina, who is a friend of mine. I've never worked with her before. This is our first time. She's super talented. And then a model named Haley Ross, who is great too. She has a very unique look, was our first choice. But we're shooting at a small studio in downtown Los Angeles. Follow along. Let's just see what we do. The lighting setup for any shoot. Now here's the thing. You're gonna see me walking on set with, by the way, where's my little camera? There's it's this tiny little DJI Osmo camera, and that's what I'm moving around with. What I'm doing first is I'm going through lighting setup. When I went into the shoot, I wanted to go into it about maybe 50%. 50%, I had an idea of how I wanted to do this. 50%, I was gonna leave it out there to be determined. Now, you never ever wanna do this for a paid shoot. The thing is, on a paid shoot, every single step, every single shot, every single setup is going to be planned out and approved by your client. On a test shoot is supposed to get us images for our portfolio that we think is gonna benefit our portfolio. That also means everybody is working for free. The model came for free, my hairstylist and makeup artist and stylist came for free. I shot for free, although I paid for the studio out of pocket and make them pay for it, which is fine. On a test shoot, it's their test too. So I give my hair and my makeup, because I trust them, some guidance also, and I say this is what we want to stay in, but what do you think? What do you think is the best outfit? What do you think would be the best hairstyle? Where normally, for a paid shoot, it doesn't work that much. There's not that democracy on a paid shoot, and you don't have to run it that way. This is how I choose to run it, but this video is going to help you guys run your own shoots too. All right, now let's talk about the lighting. I was walking around, and the reason why I brought up I wasn't sure 50-50 how I wanted to light this, part of me wanted to use a big ring light, and the ring light is, you're gonna see that right here, I'll put that in post. It's a way to not have any shadows. So it's like a really hard light, it's round, and it kills the shadows around and behind you if you stand away from the background a certain distance. You could do ring light really right or really bad. So we're putting this here. This part goes up on top because you gotta pinch it all in, and it's gotta be all 4. It's easy to get a few of them. Now we're gonna take this massive umbrella and take this in. We're gonna go in here, and we're gonna go in through this hole, and I'm gonna tighten that up. Actually, let me put it in just a little bit more. Tighten this up. The way that the light goes is, this is the head. Okay, so this will plug into a wall. And this going here, make sure that the light doesn't spill out all the way. It goes here, and then it goes all this big silver reflector space. All the light comes here, and it becomes almost more powerful, and it just comes in. It's just this massive flash that hits right here, and it blows out the whole wall. The reason why I'm using such a big umbrella instead of one of the small soft boxes is that this light is gonna create like only a space this big, and then it looks like a cheap spotlight, because this will blow out the entire light. This will blow up the entire wall. And then we're also going with this old Hollywood paparazzi look, so we're gonna see a little bit of shadow behind. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, set up the cord and everything. I have to figure out if I want it higher, if I want it to be lower. It just depends on what the camera sees. Conrad, behind my camera, assistant for the day, say hi. Okay. And then right here. So now what I'm just doing is I'm blocking out the light. See how much darker it got? We're not really getting the natural light. and that way the flash really affects the light. So we don't want to compete against the sun because you'll never win. I'm gonna take a quick picture, test this out. So this is what it looks like. We get to see, okay, how's it gonna look behind, you know, with the lighting? Because this is one of those outfits where I think, I don't know what it's gonna look like until I see with the camera. So now we're like, okay, it can live against a white wall. I looked at different things and then I actually decided, no, I'm going to go get a massive, giant umbrella. Some people might even call that a parabolic. And that is what we're gonna go with. We're gonna go with one major light source. Now, why did I wanna go with one light source? You can see that here in the behind the scenes video. You see how much it takes of the floor. But why did I do that? Because when you look right here at this photo, and the wall around her, all of this is one light. A regular size umbrella would maybe illuminate this part of it, then I need a second light here and possibly a third light there. One big umbrella, it just slaps that light perfectly, and I wanted to use it because it also had a silver lining on the inside. Now the silver lining gives that light an extra bit of that slap, and I know I used that term twice, but when it's clear white on the inside, it's like a softer light. The shadow is a little bit softer. When it's gold, it gives you that golden hue like you were out tanning, or it's sunset. And then when it's silver, it actually takes that light, it gives it almost like a little metallic tinge to it. The shadows have a little bit of extra something to it, and the lighting has a little bit of something extra to it. It's so hard to describe what that is. You feel a lot of things, and I want you guys to start practicing and start feeling it. You're like, oh, this umbrella just gave that extra little bit of oomph right there. You know what that is. I may not know what that is, but guess what? You're the photographer. So all that needs to know what it is you. I'm gonna show you guys how the remote works. I thought everybody knows, but I think it's a perfect time for a review, right? So it goes into the wall, you see that. It goes into the power trigger thing. People call it different things. And I look and I'm like, okay, I can set the password. They already set it for me as up, down, down. And then that goes in here, and that's and the sync cord is what makes this flash go off. I just manually hit the button, okay? Now then this is the other half. Can I see right here? So now we have Studio A. This is the remote for the studio. And this password right here on the remote, it's up, down, down, just like that guy in the back of the light. So now these two have connected and they speak the same language, which is the same code. Conrad, hit the button. There you go. Boom. So now let's bring that over here to the camera. And it goes into the hot shoe mount. So that'll talk to the camera in that little pin area. So now I'm going to push a button here. It's going to communicate with this. It's going to communicate with that. It's going to communicate with that. Ready, Conrad? Mm-hmm. The makeup artist is my friend Regina, and I met her many years ago. This is our first time working together. I want to give her space, so she needs, or he, or any makeup artist or hairstylist, in this case she was doing both jobs, but they need the full table. They want to be able to lay everything out. Now, you and I may have 2, 3, 4, 5 lenses with us. They've got palette after palette after palette of different brands, different shades, different usage amounts and everything. So they want to lay everything out on the table. When they do this, they're able to look at everything and get better ideas. Then make sure that they have a full table. Or they could split a table half and half for the hairstylist. Now, for the hairstylist, remember, if they're going to be using a blow dryer, make sure the circuit of that place can handle it. A lot of times people will go and use a blow dryer in a car. That circuit may not be able to handle it if you put one of the plug converter things. Now, the thing with my stylist, Andrew, we've worked together for a while, so I know how he works. He basically needs his own rolling rack. And sometimes the stylist will bring the rolling rack, sometimes they won't, sometimes the studio will just provide it. Sometimes you should have 2, 3, or 4 depending on the size of the job. And this one, I think we had 2, but we used one of them. He used one of them. And the thing about working with stylists is this: get out of their way. They are moody bunches, okay? But so are we as photographers. Allow them space to undo everything. One of the things the stylist once told me was, Walid, when I go to the car to go get the other rack, the other garment bag, I always fear that people are going to go through my outfits, and that I learned the hard way. So when a stylist comes in, don't ask them what they got. Don't say, I'm so excited to see everything. Just say, stylist, here you go. So you're going to go ahead and line up right here. Give them 15 or 20 minutes to unload things, to put things in the right order, for them to be able to grasp everything. Now, once they've seen the model come in, they've seen the hairstyle, they've seen the makeup palettes at least, they've seen what the area looks like, and then they're like, oh, you know what? This pea coat thing would be perfect for her, and I'm so glad that I brought it. But we can't be hovering over them like a little helicopter photographer, and what we got to do is allow them to go out there and set everything up, and then they will let us know, hey, Walid, hey, photographer, I'm ready, so you can look through it. Allow them to flex their expertise. So what I mean by something is that you'll see me actually holding something up. And I'm like, this is cool, but I don't fully get it. I don't have the vision of a wardrobe stylist. So what will happen is I'll ask, is there something that goes underneath this? What would you pair this with? Is this something that goes heavy with accessories or not? What's the attitude? Like, what girl would wear this? I use a lot of pop references because they're like, oh, this is like a Rihanna thing, or this is a Lourdes Leon thing. Oh, I get it. I kind of get the idea. I get the vibe of it. Do whatever language, whatever descriptions work for you, but talk through it, because they're going to assume that you get it, just like we assume that somebody understands the vision in our heads, but they don't. So we have to always say, hey, pull back a little bit. We're going to do post-processing. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So they deserve the same respect too. All right. That's how I would recommend you work with stylists. Now, what do we get? We also want consistency and lighting. That's a big one. So this is the same lighting. Then we'll have her in a different look. It'll be the same lighting. You can see all these images on screen right now. You're gonna see that the lighting is the same. I may have moved it a little, and I may have created a little bit of shadow. That's okay, but the lighting has to be the same for it to have the same vibe. You can't go from this kind of lighting and then go to natural light, and then go into a ring light, and then go into a softbox. It doesn't make sense. It's too much of a break. The human eye likes consistency. If you want success in your pictures, pick one light style, stay with that the entire shoot. Now, unless you got like a major celebrity, they can do different looks, but even then it's sort of tough. So that's why you're going to see me sticking with this massive umbrella throughout the entire shoot, but you may see me also turning it around a little bit. So maybe the umbrella comes in flat, or maybe just the side light of the umbrella comes in and it's a little bit softer, but overall the aesthetic of the light is the same throughout the entire shoot. You guys got to talk to the model. So when Haley came in, Haley was, she was pretty much everyone's first choice, but she wasn't my first choice. And I let her know this, so this isn't being shady about her. Makeup artist, yes, her. Wardrobe stylist, yes, her. Me, she was in my top 2. There was somebody else potentially. I didn't see it in her package that the agency sent, but then I saw it on her Instagram when my team showed the pictures. This is the other beautiful part about working with a team that you trust and you know, is that they're willing to pull things out in front of you and go, Walid, but check this out. You haven't seen this. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, thank you for showing me a different side of the model. Now I feel better about hiring her. Haley was awesome, but I want to know where Haley is at, because this is a test shoot for her too. Haley, what do you want to shoot more of? Haley, what have you just shot and you're excited about? Haley, what are your agents saying you're lacking, and what do you need to focus more on or off of? So we're talking. Also, you're going to see me talking to her, showing her the back of the camera and explaining. You're also going to see me literally go up against the wall and pose and do some of the poses that I want her to do. The pose that you do is going to be 5% of what they can do. They're just going to be like bam, pop, like everywhere. Don't be afraid of looking stupid. Don't be afraid of being vulnerable and showing yourself a different way. Go out there. Who cares if people laugh? The only thing you have to worry about is your picture, and they're going to respect you more for it. Every time I shoot a model, they will always say, you're one of the few photographers that actually show me what to do. Everybody else is like, love it. Ooh, I love that. Now, move a little. That's ridiculous. If you have to get on the ground to show them, show them. It's about the betterment of pictures for everybody. And also, that first shot is what takes forever. The reason why is you want to really refine the model's looks. You want to understand how you're working that day. You want to get into the groove of things. So that is another reason why we talk to the model ahead of time. So when you're talking about traffic and food and politics and whatever you want to talk about, don't do that. We don't talk about this or that shit. Whatever you want to talk about so that they feel comfortable. Side note, so many photographers do this. People think models are dumb. They're not dumb. They just are very good looking, but they can also have all of this too. So I've heard so many models go, we'll talk about something. They're like, dude, you're the only photographer that talks to us like we have a brain. I hope you guys learned. And then the next video is gonna be right here. Make sure that you click subscribe to this channel so you guys get a chance to see it, because the next one I'm actually gonna be shooting and you're gonna learn a lot. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit.